Federal MP Andrew Wilkie has used parliamentary privilege to allege the AFL is complicit in covering up a major drug problem. Stephanie Ferrier is following developments and joins us now. Hi there, Steph. What did Mr Wilkie say and what's been the reaction so far this morning?
Good morning, Kath. Yes, Andrew Wilkie has certainly dropped quite the bombshell under parliamentary privilege in Parliament last night. He was actually asked to repeat some of those comments or add further on News Breakfast just a little while ago, but he did not want to add to that, and he said that was quite difficult given that he's normally the sort of person who wants to give a straight answer to a straight question, but clearly he did not want to say that outside of Parliament. What he did say in Parliament, though, is that he's revealed that he has this signed statement from the former head doctor of the Melbourne Football Club where he allegedly confesses to conducting these off-the-books illicit drug tests on players before match days at a laboratory in Heidelberg in Melbourne's east. And that allowed those players then to not have to face any consequences if they tested positive. Now, we'll hear just now what he had to say from this signed statement from the doctor in Parliament last night.
Deputy Speaker, here is what happened as it has been described to me. The AFL wants the player to play at all costs, and so the cover-up begins. If there are no illegal drugs in the player's system, they are free to play. And if there are drugs in their system, the player is often asked to fake an injury. So, Deputy Speaker, next time you hear a player has a hamstring injury, you could be forgiven for wondering what's really going on.
And he says that this is not just limited to the Melbourne Football Club. He says that there is indeed evidence that he can actually table as well and put forward to Parliament showing that there's a much more widespread cocaine problem among AFL players as a whole across the league. Now, he has accused the AFL of willful inaction and also says that the AFL is an entity that enjoys tax breaks and government grants, and this use of off-the-books drug testing is showing that the AFL has effectively perpetuated a multi-million-dollar fraud against the governments and also taxpayers. Now, we're yet to hear from the AFL to respond to some of these really startling allegations, but we have heard from Melbourne Football Club's coach Simon Goodwin. He says that he was surprised by these allegations and he certainly hasn't heard of them.
This is a process that the AFL, the AFLPA and the club doctors put together from a confidentiality perspective. So to have no line of sight is not unusual, but I've got enormous trust in our doctor in terms of them being able to do their job. So I'm not going to question how they go about their business.
Simon Goodwin there, the coach, expressing full confidence in Melbourne Football Club's medical team. However, we're still to hear from Melbourne Football Club itself in terms of any statement on this. And Andrew Wilkie was talking about his concerns about player safety. He says that this is putting player safety at risk, that it's being sabotaged, that players, he alleged in Parliament last night, were effectively being used as corporate cannon fodder to play the game at all costs. Now, we are hearing from him again. He's once again trying to table some of these documents today that he wasn't able to do so under parliamentary privilege last night. But he has called for the very top of government. He's called on the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, to personally intervene and ensure that federal authorities investigate this. And we know that this follows Melbourne's forward, Joel Smith, the 27-year-old, who is facing a lifetime ban after being charged under the WADA Code for allegedly trafficking cocaine. Now, he's got 3 counts against him. That's still being investigated by Sport Integrity Australia, the body that looks after the World Anti-Doping Agency's rules here for all competition in Australia, and that could eventually be heard before an AFL tribunal in the coming months. But clearly a lot of concerns about this. We saw that Essendon performance-enhancing scandal at least a decade, if not slightly longer ago, and you'll have to say that this really has huge ramifications for the league. So we are waiting to hear what they have to say about this latest allegation from Andrew Wilkie.